Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of JDM Masters, and we're here today back again in Type 1 Spoon in Suginami. And today they have a very special event. It's called a Spoon Collection. This is just after the 2020 Tokyo Auto Salon. So Spoon doesn't participate in the Auto Salon anymore. Instead, they have an exhibition here right at their premises because they have a really fantastic workshop, as you can see in our previous video here. It's a really special event because they have a lot of their legendary race cars on display, and we're going to just take you to some. So right behind me here is perhaps one of the most classic Spoon Sports SIR EG6. This is a N1 Super Tokyo race car, and it participated in the N1 race back in 1992. So let's have a look a little bit at the details of this car. Fans of Spoon and Taiwan will recognize the blue and yellow livery. They've still kept it the same. You have the Spoon carbon fiber mirrors and the SW388 wheels with the twin block 4-port caliper, and that's a very, very iconic Spoon product. The rest of the car, according to N1 Super Tokyo regulations, must remain standard, but they're allowed to put certain parts, like the exhaust system can be different, the ECU can be different, but largely the gearbox, even the ratios, the suspension arms must be the same. Everything else can be changed, and it's an endurance race to demonstrate the power rest of a normal stock car. And Honda's already having a very high potential, a lot of horsepower, but its low weight was quite a formidable competitor as a car in the Super Tokyo series. But there is another interesting EG6 which is over here. Now, interestingly, this is a joint project with Spoon and Legends. What's very interesting about this is undergoing restoration and tuning work. Let's have a look inside. I'm not sure if the camera can catch it, but okay. The whole inside of the chassis is laid out with carbon fiber overlay to strengthen the floor of the chassis. The EK Civic is a little bit stronger on the floor than the EG, and I think this is perhaps one of the best ways to increase the rigidity on the floor. Also, the body is painted in grey, just like the race cars, and it'll be really interesting to see how this project comes about. The engine, let's have a look. Oh my goodness. I've never seen an exhaust manifold quite like this. So normal exhaust manifold runs underneath the oil pan, but this is a custom one-off made. I'm pretty sure this is titanium from the appearance and the color, running just parallel to the engine going around to the back. So it's a very long exhaust flow, perhaps to increase the torque. It's also using a B18C, as you can see from the high block here. Looks like a project that will perhaps make a lot of power. Also, carbon fiber is used to strengthen the strut towards. Very beautiful work done. We'll try to find out more about this in the future, but it's interesting to see that Spoon is also now working with different workshops, and here it is. You guys can check it out on the internet right here. So Legends is a workshop that also specializes in tuning cars. They're in Saitama, so they're doing a joint project with Spoon for this EG6, and we'll be checking them out in the future. So Spoon raced this Honda NSX NA2 previously in the Macau GP in the mid 2000s, but this particular car is not the same Macau GP car. It has a 3.2 liter engine, and it's built for sprint specs, on circuit spec. But very interesting, you have the livery and the interior. I'm noticing now, you can see the whole dash is made of carbon fiber, really much to reduce weight, but beautifully constructed and laid out. The NSX is not typically a car that Spoon provides or even makes parts for, but Spoon, being very close to Honda, and the boss Tatsuru Ichishima tries to race all kinds of Hondas, even like the Legend CL7 Accord Euro R, but also the NSX. I really wish they would make parts for the NSX. It would be really, really cool. But they also do restoration work. Customers who are in Japan or even overseas, you can bring your car, even the NSX or even a step wagon, to Type 1 workshop, and they will do restoration work for you because they know Honda old cars very well. The engine behind me here is a 3.5 liter stroked up NSX C series engine, individual throttle bodies, looking really, really beautiful. This was the engine apparently that was used in the Macau GP. So Spoon iconic yellow head covers. This is rumored to produce in excess of 350 horsepower. The one below is a stock engine. So, you know, basically this is the dream engine for any Honda enthusiast. It's great to see it here. All right, moving on. We have a beautiful S2000 coupe with the full body kit of the Super Type series. So Spoon actually manufactures all of these parts that you see tested and tried in the Super Type car. We'll start off with the coupe hardtop, which actually includes a very interesting hatchback. Now, to get this shape, increases dynamic airflow and downforce, and especially with the bumpers and the front fenders as well, increasing the airflow, working together with the front bumpers, but still keeping within the original width of the original AP1 and AP2. Because these are regulations, N1, they're allowed to change the external parts for aerodynamics. Oh, the engine is still stock, but their bumpers, this is actually a different bumper. We'll see one of the other bumpers that includes fog lights upstairs later. And one of my favorites is this EK9 N1 Super Tycoon race car. Just like the EG6, it's pretty much standard. Being a Type R, already has from the factory the harder bushes, a higher horsepower engine, and perhaps the EG and EK that is perhaps in the minds mostly of Spoon enthusiasts. So let's have a look what's different. The bonnet has an air escape vent for the radiator to release more heat. Other than that, stripped out according to regulations in delivery. What's interesting is that the rear wing, as I've said in the previous video, perhaps they chose an EK4 style for better higher speed aerodynamics. Otherwise, it's still just a normal EK9, which already has very, very high potential. Looking inside, you can see the body in white with the gray interior to see if there are any, so that it's easier to see if there are any cracks in the body. A full regulation roll cage, and also a fuel cell, which contains has a higher capacity for fuel than a standard car. And all of iconic Spoon parts that you can buy off the catalog, the bucket seat, the gear shift knob, the steering wheel, which have always been in use even since the EG. This may seem a little boring because they're just standard road cars, but the concept of Spoon, as I've mentioned in the previous video, it's all about the small settings, so the suspension, the things that you can change, and these are the things that make a difference in an N1 race. The standard car, which already has a high potential, how do you make that more competitive? And it's all about trying different settings. So a lot of feedback from racing goes into their road parts, which you and I as enthusiasts we can buy for our car, but it's not enough when you buy parts. So let's have a look upstairs. So I'm up here on the second floor now. We have the PR manager of Spoon Sports with me. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for being on our video.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm Daisuke. I'm PR manager and expo sales and everything.
Right.
Yeah, I can do.
So Spoon has a lot of overseas distributors right now. How many countries are you distributing in?
So America and Canada and China, and Taiwan, Thailand, and Malaysia, and Australia, and Europe.
Wow. Basically, we have a lot of Spoon fans all around the world, and they're buying a lot of old cars like EG, EK, DC, SP, and AP1, and all of them love Spoon parts.
Yes, everybody. So thank you so much for using the every parts.
In the future, what are the new Spoon parts that will be marketed overseas? The new FK8 Civic that just released. You have some new parts for it?
Yes, we just released the front bumper, and we will soon available the GT wing and the rear bumper.
Right.
And May of this year, we will sell the new FK8 dumper coilover kit.
Nice.
Yeah.
You were telling me earlier that you
Yeah.
have a partnership with KW to produce these new dampers
Yes.
as well.
Our first contact is in America.
I see. I
Yeah.
see.
So we used the time attack of the FD2, and we use KW damper, and we saw the good information and good say no function is very good. So we want to make with KW.
Excellent, excellent. Sometimes having a good partnership with
Yes.
suspension makers is great. Also, with the new generation ECUs, Spoon has now partnership with Hondata to
Yes.
do like the programming as
Yeah.
well. Very good. So we're gonna go check out the FK8 and the new parts. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For having me here.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. So here on the second floor today is an open event. You can see many people coming from overseas. We have a lot of the different Spoon fans, and this is a great event that they have the Spoon collection. It's a place where fans can come and they can connect and talk with the engineers and interact with them. The Spoon president was over there right now. Let's go have a look.
Wednesday, but
Legendary Ichishima-san, of course, he started the company in the early 80s, and the word Spoon actually comes from the Spoon Corner in Suzuka Circuit. And you'll see this motif that Spoon has a sticker. It's actually a Japanese crane. The crane means tsuru in Japanese, which is part of Ichishima-san's surname, which is Tatsuru. This motif of the Spoon is seen everywhere in their current products. Let's have a look at that. The FK8 Civic Type R now becomes a turbocharged engine, and they've produced some new parts. Let's have a look at the front bumper. The new front bumper has this accentuated lines going up like this with increased cooling and of course carbon fiber front lip. But I was told that the lines, if you look carefully, the shape of this bumper and the fender with this line is actually the same as the Spoon's crane. And that's the design motive, and also increases airflow and aerodynamics as well. That Spoon crane motive doesn't actually stop here. It comes all the way at the back as well. Over fenders, we have the stock car, we have the SW388 wheels. But look at this GT wing, guys. Now, this is a new type of GT wing mounting system, sometimes nicknamed the Swan system, but Spoon would like to call this the crane system, because this is actually also the motive of the Spoon crane logo. What's interesting about this system is that it increases airflow for the pressure side on the bottom, which actually makes it sit a little bit down. Now, the Civic Type R FK8 with the Hondata can produce about 360 horsepower, making it very different from the older cars. It can achieve very high speed, so you want that kind of stability. With the new crane neck style GT wing, having that high speed increases the pressure from the back, also with a carefully designed hatch wing to give more downforce and stability, especially since it's a high-powered FF car. So another Spoon part that has been developed for the FK8, which is not on the demo car right here, but we can see it in this photo. Now, it's a very classical style bumper imagined by Spoon. The classic Civic is known to be a compact car. Of course, the FK generation has got a lot wider. So Spoon's concept for this bumper, as you can see from this line, it kind of tucks it inside a little bit, and a clean black strip here, giving back that old simplicity of the classic Civics, of the EG, of the EK, and even the EP. And that's their design concept for a bumper for the FK8 for fans who want to bring back that classic spirit of the Civic. And looking at this now, it really does accentuate the natural body lines of the FK8, which I like very much, how these lights kind of like round off and then it's squared at the bottom. Vents that are still functional but also giving that carbon fiber trim. We love to see it in real life. Let's have a look at this photo here. You can see how the bottom line kind of cuts upwards and kind of makes it just squaring it off, because the original car, let's have a look at the original car and for comparison, has the skirts quite sprayed out, quite widened, and this kind of fake mesh grille, which doesn't really give that kind of Civic style. So Spoon's concept is to make an improvement over stock parts, which is really in the core of their philosophy. You can see it in their engine parts, which uses the same supplier as Honda subsidiary parts, and they improve the point. And so now they've also started to think about aerodynamic designs. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can develop for these, and hopefully we can also see maybe new parts for all the cars, just like some of the manufacturers. So this is the crane sticker of the Tsuru, which has this sort of neck motif, and you can see it on the crane wing and also the front bumper. Spoon N1 mufflers or exhaust system. It's twin system, and it's also used on the 1.5 liter FK8. But this is based on the old N1 design. But for the Japanese market, this N1 design can actually pass the Shaken, and it is Shaken approved, and it's got lower decibel levels. On the older cars, unfortunately, they have the street spec and also the N1 spec, which cannot pass Shaken. But an integral part of any tuning is always a very good exhaust system. So this is the new parts which they are hoping to market overseas right now. So the last car that I want to show you today, which we weren't able to catch the last time, is the legendary Wonder Civic. I noticed that the blue is lighter, a little bit lighter. So the Wonder Civic is a little bit different. It is not the N1 Super Tokyo race car. This is actually a Group A engine using the ZC D series engine, twin cam, with a lot of technology in the cylinder head design from F1, and this can produce in excess of 200 horsepower, even for a 1.6 liter. No VTEC. This is the days before VTEC. No double wishbone suspension, front strut, rear trailing arm, but it's really light. And the Wonder Civic precedes the EF Grand Civic. But this classic style is really iconic from the 80s, legendary Spoon race car. Let's have a look inside. I really like the 80s style dashboard. You have the aircon vents on a 2-level kind of here. I noticed that the vents are vertical instead of horizontal typically. Clock over here, and a little nice table to put food or your snacks, some of the things that maybe was a lifestyle in the 80s. But the design of the 80s cars, a lot of them are typical like that, whether it's Toyota or Nissan, and also looking at the door trim, a lot of 80s cars have this typical kind of like velvet feel interior trim. If we do find a really mint condition Wonder Civic SI, called an E80, we'll love to review that as well. I'm out with the Spoon president, Mr. Tatsuru Ichishima. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm a Honda and Spoon fan myself, and for many years I really like Spoon, and a lot of fans and supporters from over the world, they love Spoon cars and also still buying Spoon parts. Do you have a message for our overseas Spoon fans?
Thank you very much, and Honda fanatic of the fan, and we love you Honda, and every time I go, thank you very much.
ありがとうございました. Thank you very much, Rajima-san. So guys, that was a very quick overview of the Spoon collection day here at Type 1 Garage. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be coming back here in the future to see a more in-depth review and technical explanation of their products right now. Thank you for watching, and catch you in the next video. Peace out.